Hello students, this is my first lecture for fifth semester major students, and this is from your paper of Western political thinkers or classical political thinkers, and it is all about Thomas Hobbes' social contract and state of nature. So remember one thing, that Thomas Hobbes was not so much interested to write about the origin of the state or social contract theory. Actually, the situation compelled him to write about the theory of social contract and the origin of the state. Thomas Hobbes, he was a famous person of England, and was born in 1588. And what happened in 1642, civil war broke out in England, and Thomas Hobbes witnessed that civil war and the impact of civil war. The impact of civil war was very pathetic. There is no civilized life. People lost all hopes. People are behaving like a selfish being. Everything actually touched him very much, and he thought that without establishing or supporting absolute government or absolute monarchy, it was not possible to revive the position of Great Britain. And that is why he actually supported the Stuart rule of England, and he was also supported that absolute monarchy is the best solution of removing the misery of the British people. And that's why he actually wrote in his book Leviathan about the social contract theory and about the origin of the state. And through this theory, he actually supported the absolute monarchy. Okay, so the situation actually compelled him to develop this theory, and his view on state of nature, of human nature, was very much negative. He said that state of nature is totally, or human nature is totally savagery. They are like savages. Their life are solitary. Solitary means they are not, there is no fellow feeling among themselves. Their life is poor. Poor means very short-lived. Who will die at what time, no one knows. Nasty, brutish and short. That means all the negative characters he found in the nature of human being, and he thought that that was responsible for the misery of the British people. People are at that time very much self-centered. Nobody bothered about the interest of others. Everybody at that time thought about their own well-beings. There was no difference between justice and injustice. Everything is same for them. And people were always busy with satisfying their hunger and appease their desire of fame. They are only related with how to satisfy their hunger and how they themselves can become famous by adopting any means. Then there was no common power to keep them together. Actually, there was no authority at that time which can bound the people together for their well-being. And what happened? There was no place, as there is totally jungle rush, there was no place for culture, no place for industry, navigation, or even society is not there. Everything was a total mess, and that is why Hobbes thought that it was necessary to get rid of that type of situation. It is very much necessary for the people to come into contact with some other person or authority. So actually Hobbes said that to get rid of that negative situation, people ultimately thought that it was very much necessary for them to come out and make a contract with a particular person or with an association, and to give their right to that person or that authority who will rule them according to his own will. So people being fed up with the situation, and they entered into contract in order to protect life and maintain peace, because their life became short, brutish, nasty, and so that is why they were very much worried to came out from that situation, and that is why they are interested to go for a contract. Why? For protection of their life and to maintain peace in their country. So what happened? Ultimately, the state is established by a covenant. Covenant means constitution, or through a rules, every man with every man, in order every man with every man. That means they ultimately join together and they establish a society. And people themselves, they willingly give up their rights to the authority. No one forced them to give, no authority forced them or asked them to give their right to him or her. But they willing to give their rights to that authority only because of safety and security. And they authorized him to function in his own manner. So whoever came into power as king, he was given the authority to run the administration according to his own will, because people realized that without authority, they cannot find a way to come out from that negative situation. So other highlights of the contract, or the characteristics of contract, is that sovereign came into being as a result of contract. That means they have created the sovereign authority through the contract. So sovereign authority is not a party to the contract. That means the king was not bound to follow the clauses of the contract. He was all in all. It is based on the sentiment. It is based on the sentiment of fear. That means that particular contract is based on sentiment of fear. That means if anyone is interested to break the contract, then what happens? Ultimately, they will again face the same situation, same negative situation. So the sense of fear or fear psychosis among the people, it actually divert the people, it actually obstruct the people to come out from that contract. So all of them willingly they are in the contract, and no one dared to come out from the contract because of that fear that if we come from that contract, we will have to face the same situation. And according to Hobbes, men are not social beings. Men are antisocial beings. Antisocial means antisocial elements are always there, and they nurture the antisocial elements among them. And which can be that antisocial elements or antisocial qualities. Who can suppress that? It is only the authority. Only a forceful authority, even necessarily by using force, he or she can control the antisocial elements that are prevailing among the human being. And another thing is that no person single-handedly break the contract, he may have to face capital punishment. If an individual thought that, okay, I will come out from that contract, okay, he may come out from that contract, but majority people are there with that contract or with that absolute monarch. So in that case, that particular individual who is interested or who try to come out from that contract, he may face punishment from that absolute ruler. Even he may face death sentence also if anyone try to come out from that contract. Then no right to revolt against authority. Of course, he has supported absolute monarchy, and the monarch is not the party to the contract. They willingly give their rights to that monarch, so they have no right to revolt against him. If the king is not behaving according to their own will also, then also they cannot do anything against him to remove him from the post. So sovereignty is indivisible. Of course, sovereignty is indivisible because he supported absolute monarchy, because that situation compelled him to support absolute monarchy, the situation of Great Britain after the Civil War that took place there. So everywhere there was chaos, and that's why he supported absolute monarchy. And as he supported absolute monarchy, so no question of dividing the sovereign authority. Sovereign authority will lies with single person or single authority. Then sovereignty is the main source of law. That means the dictation of the sovereign authority is the law. Command of the sovereign authority is the law. Whatever instruction or whatever command given by the sovereign authority, that will be the law of land. There are no other sources of laws. Okay. Then contract is both social and political, because through the people made a contract, and first they have established the society, and simultaneously they also established the government. So it has two, what I can say is two stages: first society and then government. Both they have established through a single contract. Then sovereign himself can declare war or conclude peace. People have no right to declare war or join in the war or conclude peace. It is the sole responsibility of the sovereign authority whether he will declare war against any foreign country or he will go for peace process. So all these things are determined by the sovereign authority. And why the people entered into contract? People entered into contract mainly because of their safety, life and liberty. And if the sovereign fails to protect their life and liberty, the ties of the contract would automatically be snapped. If there is again chaos, nothing good is going on, then automatically contract will not be there. And another thing is that if any invader attack their country and ultimately conquer their country, then automatically they will again remain submissive to that foreign ruler. So Hobbes, though actually intentionally he supported the system of absolute monarchy only to save his own country from that chaotic situation. So you remember one thing, that he was not interested to write about Leviathan, or not interested to write about the social contract theory or origin of the state. His main intention is to establish that absolute monarchy is the need of the hour, and that's why he wrote everything in his theory of social contract. Whether it is correct or not, this is another question, but the situation compelled him to do so. So thank you today.